Australia?
Yeah, is there time difference from east to west in Australia?
Only in daylight savings, but we are live. I'm going to hit this intro button right about. I actually just made that intro up like a couple of days ago. It only took me a year to freaking do an intro for this podcast. I thought I was I'm missing something, on this thing that it needs an intro. So I made that intro for you for this podcast. But guys, thank you for coming on.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us. And you got a last minute addition of this lovely man.
This handsome dude. Yeah.
Dude, yes.
Yeah. How you guys been?
Been good. Well,
we're bloated.
Yeah, we're bloated right now.
Yeah, Frenchie was just saying that you guys went to a really bad dinner.
Yes, we went to a terrible dinner. We have an upcoming episode of Pro Chef Reacts coming out where we're reacting to a terribly made lasagna. And so what I've been doing at the end of the episodes now is just featuring Frenchie and I going out to eat, because New York has everything you could ever want. And I keep moving this camera and you keep moving out of frame. It's driving me crazy.
So adapt.
I always have to adapt to Frenchie's needs, to his convenience. So
we actually went too far to go get that lasagna. We could have
gone down the block. I know. That's what we're gonna do for lunch tomorrow.
Okay.
I pay.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Okay. Oh, and they have good pizza there again. So
we
can do pizza again.
Okay. All right, good. So we needed footage. So at the end of the episodes as of late, I've been incorporating us going to eat around New York. I think it's a little bit of a love letter to, New York, so to speak, just to showcase it. But also, it's like we'll watch some of these videos and be like, we're hungry and or we need to erase the memory of this bad dish that we just watched. So we would go out to eat anyway, and I started taking a camera. So now we're like, you know what? Why don't we just go eat what we just reacted to and a good version of it? Unfortunately, the place we went to, the carbonara was great actually,
and
the pizza was okay.
It
was okay. Yeah.
It looked like it was pre-cooked.
Yeah, the dough was No, I don't think it was pre-cooked. I just think it was overcooked. Yeah. So, we can use footage of the carbonara. Carbonara. But that's it, man. It was just we feel something bubbling in our tummies right now. It's not good. Him and I may end up texting each other in the middle of the night, like, is it happening?
Is it happening?
So, do people mind when you do those type of things? Like, obviously, they probably wouldn't know who you guys are when you're filming and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're not that famous. We're not famous enough for people to be like, that's Frenchie and Brian doing a bit for their show. But it's so common in New York these days. People will stare a little bit, but ultimately they'll just look at us and be like, man, who the hell are those fucking middle-aged wannabes trying to be content creators? While we are legit content creators, but we don't necessarily fit the demographic of who would be bringing cameras and panel lights and shit to dinner and stuff like that. But I'm way past the age of giving a shit, and he definitely doesn't give a shit. So it works out great.
Yeah. I was watching that episode you guys done. Was that the customers are not always right episode? I agree. I totally agree on that. And sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut and just agree with the person. You know?
Sometimes it's not worth the headache, so you agree and you just do everything you can to make them happy, because ultimately they get the last say, and that's in the form of a shitty review. If I end up shitting my brains out tonight because of that fucking lasagna, I'll probably let them know, be like, yo, like I'm not going to leave a bad review or anything, but just want you guys to know, like, go look at the go look at that lasagna.
Oh. Yeah, but I could tell right away.
Huh?
I could tell right away.
I mean, I knew it wasn't very fresh, but you also know that I'm a human garbage can, and like I don't like things to go to waste, you know. So like to my own detriment.
I tried one taste,
Yeah,
and I gave it a second taste, and I was like, nope, done.
Yeah,
And I'm still bubbling.
Yeah, I'm bubbling like fuck. Yeah, I know. I finished the dish, so like I always finish my food. Always. It has to be like incredibly bad or straight up fucking rotten for me to not finish it.
Yeah.
It was rotten tonight.
It was on the verge.
It was on the verge.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully I'll get superpowers out of this. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same like you. Like I like to finish it as well, even if it does taste like shit or anything, because like, you know, food's expensive now.
Yeah.
You can't afford to fucking throw. And yeah, it's what is it's expensive to buy food and to go out and eat at the same time. But like, yeah, like I was saying,
Adam, you and I are not smart like Frenchie. He just will take one bite, be like, no, not for me, and then let the human garbage can eat the food.
Well, see, my mom's Filipino. She's always just like, always don't waste your food. Always finish what you're eating. You know, I guess it's an Asian thing. I'm not too sure.
It's totally an Asian thing.
Yeah, for some reason I look Mexican, but But how did the podcast started with you, Brian? With so you want to get fat? Because that almost sounds like a Steel Panther song.
Like a what?
A Steel Panther song. You ever heard of Steel Panther? No. Oh, really? You haven't heard of Steel Panther? I show you this later. It's a good.
I shouldn't be knowing it, right? Do I know it? But I just don't know that I know it.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe. I'll show you some. Steel Panther.
Is that 80s?
They're like an 80s sounding band, but they're not an 80s band. They're from the 2000s.
They're around the 2000s, yeah. Mid 2000s, I think.
I like that new band, the ones that are like an ode to like Led Zeppelin. What are they called?
Greta Van Fleet.
Yes.
Yeah. Greta Van Fleet's cool. I fuck with that. As far as the podcast goes, you know, Frenchie and I reconnected shortly after the pandemic. I had him on as a guest for Pro Chef Reacts.
Yeah.
And again, him and I have known each other for so long, and we would see each other pretty regularly prior to the pandemic. But I think it was after we connected again, post-pandemic bullshit, where we were just like, man, we missed each other so much, and this was so much fun. So I just kept calling him back to Brooklyn. And then Frenchie realized at some point, like, man, it's a lot easier to get the bitch to come to me. Like, why don't you move in with me, baby? And that's that's literally in some ways what happened. So we are in Frenchie's home in the city, which is above his restaurant. You know, we just it's like fucking Pee-wee's Playhouse for us over here. You know, we have the restaurant downstairs, we have the YouTube studio here, but you know, we were already hanging out so regularly prior to this, you know, just because we were having such a blast doing Pro Chef Reacts, and it was getting such a good reception on the channel. And then I was like, you know what? I'm already here. Why don't we maximize our time and start another channel? Because, you know, in all honesty, like I always felt like we could talk about so much more than just food stuff. And that's what the podcast is. It's still very food centric, but like we can definitely veer off into other directions. There's not as much of a time constraint. And yeah, like usually at the end of every podcast, we're like, oh, it's over. Like,
I try to.
Yeah, you're
trying to keep it.
Yeah, I want people like, you know, wanting more, but
because your generation have a short attention span.
Yes, that's true.
My generation have like 3-4 hour podcasts.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, but I want more. You know.
Yeah.
So
that's when you do a part 2.
Yes.
Always a part 2 of a guest. I try not to go for over an hour because I tend to ramble. And again, I think it's a Filipino thing because my mum loves to talk as well. So I must have got it from her. And I think the longest I've had a guest on was like nearly 2 hours. And this was like maybe, I think it was like a 3 a.m. start for me here. And I think over there, I can't remember the time difference over there at the time. But yeah, I think we almost finished like maybe almost 5 a.m. for me. I was like, shit, I should get some sleep right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a good conversation going, you don't even realize the time is passing. We've all been there. How many of us have gone to dinner or like grabbed a cup of coffee, and before you know it, you're like 5 cups in, or gone to a bar, and you just it just
Dude, they should open up a bar together.
Yeah. It's I agree with that. It's kind of like that at work as well. Like as soon as you get to work, you do what you need to do. You look at the times, like service is almost over. I'm like, where has that time gone?
Yeah, 100%. And what's a lot of fun about that is you can have those types of conversations with people that you've known forever, like Frenchie and I.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything him and I don't know about each other, but somehow we keep finding ways to talk for ages and ages. But then there's also those types of relationships where, like, you can hang out and barely say a fucking word to each other.
Yeah, we've been focused on topics.
Yeah.
Because we used to talk. I used to have all my old stories.
Yeah.
But we haven't done that anymore.
Yeah, true. But like, I almost feel like when it comes up, it just comes up naturally with your stories, because you also don't want to force stories. Let me tell you how I have 2 belly buttons.
That'll be on your next episode of So You Want to Get Fat.
Yeah.
So when did that started? Like how long have you been doing So You Want to Get Fat for now?
I think it'll be a year come like October.
Yeah.
Oh, we started in the summer. It'll be a year, I think, next month. Yeah, I don't know. All I know, maybe.
Can't you just look it up?
We can. Not going to. I'm being lazy. All I remember is that we had the AC on when we first started.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, it was.
Yeah, it's almost a year now. We've been doing the podcast, and we haven't missed an. No,
that's because noise was an issue. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah. I remember you were wearing your octopus shirt. Which you bust out every now and then.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, you look good in that shirt.
I gotta go find that octopus shirt.
But we've been doing the podcast for about a year at this point, and I've been doing content creation consistently and taking it seriously since the pandemic. Pandemic hit, I think, very shortly after I started doing Twitch, but it wasn't maybe until like 6 or 7 months into the pandemic I started doing YouTube.
Yeah.
Ooh, that lasagna.
Lasagna's not. So I started doing YouTube like 6-7 months into the pandemic. It wasn't Pro Chef Reacts yet. That took a little later, but podcast about a year.
What was the first one again? Music, right?
So when I first started my YouTube journey, it was like over 10 years ago, but I was not uploading consistently. I was doing the most consistent I was like bi-weekly. I was putting out guitar gear review videos because that's kind of what I was obsessed about. I'm still obsessed about guitar gear. Like I have a ridiculous
same.
But I realized I liked consuming guitar gear content. I liked guitar gear, but I did not want to make content about it. But I just got started, and it taught me the basics of editing and stuff like that. But that was the first content I was doing, and it's still on my channel. It's still on my main channel. Like you have to go back. If you scroll back, it's all there.
Oh, so you just changed the name?
No, it was always Chef Brian Tsao.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, even with like gear. Yeah, it was from a marketing standpoint, it was probably the stupidest thing I could do, doing like a guitar gear channel on a channel called Chef Brian Tsao's. Super confusing, but who cares? I just went for it, and made a lot of good friends over that period, and
well, it kind of worked out then.
It kind of worked out ultimately, but it was very sporadic. I did like vlog style videos, which I really loved doing those types of videos, but it wasn't until Pro Chef Reacts where it really like took on a life of its own.
Yeah, nice. I always wanted to do those guitar gear stuff too as well, reviews and all that shit. But like again, I didn't want to do that, even though like I love playing guitar, I love playing music, and I've been playing guitar since I was like maybe 12 years old. I'm 38 now. So but then I didn't want to like make another page and have fucking 4 different profiles or something, like personal podcast and this and some other shit, So like I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Maintaining a consistent content, anything is very time consuming, and music in particular, you have to get the gear, review the gear, probably write some music with it. There's audio engineering, like serious audio engineering involved, and it just wasn't for me. Like I like to get in a room.
Sounds expensive.
Yes, it can get expensive in that unless you got endorsements, you would have to buy all this gear, and theoretically you should buy it and sell it to get another piece. But the problem is you buy it, you like it, and then you don't sell it, and then you start amassing all this gear, and it didn't work.
Seems like that was the problem.
That was the problem.
And your wife was like, "Why do we have so many guitars?"
Fortunately for me, my wife wasn't that bad about it.
She never went in that room.
No, well, at that time I didn't have that room.
Where was it?
It was just in the fucking living room. It was funny. I was talking to my wife yesterday, and something happened between my mom and I and then my wife got involved into it, and I cracked some joke, and my wife started bursting out laughing, and then my daughter goes, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Charlotte, honey, it's not easy being married to your daddy, And my wife just started fucking bursting out laughing, and I don't know why she puts up with everything I do. Having guitars all over the living room being one of them before we moved into our house now, but Yes, it was very expensive. And that's why I like doing Pro Chef Reacts, because it's not very expensive to produce that content.
No, not at all. I've had sort of that same problem as well when I was living in my mum's place, and that mum's always like, "What are you going to do with all of those guitars?" I'm like, "Play them."
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But Uncle Roger, he was a guest on your podcast. How do you guys know him? Because that guy is funny as shit. I love watching his reaction videos, especially like towards Jamie Oliver and stuff like that. So how do you know him, and how did you get him onto your podcast?
Well, I've always been a bit of a social butterfly, I like to think I'm pretty easy to get along with and fun to hang around with. What do you think, buddy?
You make yourself agreeable. You adapt to the people.
Actually, that's a good point. I do adapt. So with that said, I think I'm the first guy to start reacting to Uncle Roger videos, which the whole joke is that Uncle Roger's already reacting to someone. So like, I'm reacting to someone else's fucking reaction. And it's
from the perspective of a chef.
But from the perspective of a chef. So I was able to add a lot of the why to what Uncle Roger was saying, because Uncle Roger, especially in the early stages, was more focused on the comedic aspects of things.
Yeah.
Like the comedic aspects of why something's fucked up. But he's a lot better now, but
well, doesn't he have somebody who helps him with that?
Yeah. Well, he will like consult with chefs, to really get behind the nitty gritty of dishes that he's reacting to now. So lately I haven't had to add as much, because he usually covers the bases. Sometimes I'll get a little bit more detailed, but that's how it started. You know, I just felt like, number one, it was a joke. Like, I love my audience, and this is not a knock to them, but when I started doing Reacts content, it was the first time on my YouTube channel I was noticing the view count was consistently ticking up. And my first Reacts video was to Max the Meat Guy. Then I was like, you know what? How do I take this up another level? And like, what's the stupidest thing I can do? Oh, I'll just react to a reaction. That was literally my train of thought. And I thought Uncle Roger's stuff was perfect because, number one, I genuinely liked his content. But there were many times I was watching his videos and I said to myself, man, he like, there's a missed opportunity to talk about this technique or this ingredient or such and such. I put it out and just the channel fucking blew up, you know. And a lot of people's channels blew up over the pandemic for obvious reasons. But that's how it happened. So how I got to know Nigel, Uncle Roger, is I think because I was the first guy to react to him, it caught attention. You know, the market wasn't as saturated, so to speak.
Which episode?
Oh, I don't remember which episode. The first episode for me that blew up was the Uncle Roger reacts to Jamie Oliver's fried rice. Yeah. It was no brainer. But he would leave comments on my videos, and he would say, "Oh, that was hilarious," or whatever. And you know, I would also tag him on Instagram and be like, "Hey," well, I wouldn't say hey to him. I'd just be like, "This video is out, right? Go check it out." And of course, I would tag him, and he would actually leave comments on those too. So I just we started, you know, a rapport on Instagram, and then I don't remember if I met him first in New York or I think, the first time I met him was when he was on his comedy tour in New York.
Is that when you went out drinking?
No, I was drinking.
Is that when you guys went out drinking?
No, that was like the second time we hung out. Yeah, that was the second time. That was before Frenchie became a regular on the show and stuff like that. And that's how I got to know Nigel, and we just kept in touch all these years now, and that's it. You know, it's just kind of naturally happened, organically happened. You know, and New York's an easy town to hang out in. You know?
Yeah. Well, for anyone that doesn't know who Uncle Roger is, look him up on Instagram and YouTube, and give him a follow and watch his stuff. Even if you're having a bad day, a good day, or whatever, just go and watch some of his stuff because like he will make you laugh.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah. So like, how did you guys get into the hospitality business, and what made you guys want to become chefs?
You want to start this one off?
Well, it's weird because some kid for school has to interview me, and all those questions are popping up.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah.
I guess I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I want to show you. It's cute. It was the kid who volunteered and helped me for.
Oh wow, that's a lot of questions.
I know, right?
Yeah. So you can get your practice here.
First question: what caused you to start in the food industry? Take it out.
I mean, for me, it was serendipitous.
He loved food. He was a big boy. He was a big boy.
Yeah, there's that too. A lot of people don't realize how big I am. Like a lot of people, when they meet me, they're like, "Holy, like you're a lot bigger than you look on camera." You know, I'm 6 foot, 250 pounds, so I'm I'm a big boy, but
and I look bigger on camera.
Oh, you look bigger on camera, yeah. So people are like, "Oh, wait, yeah, Frenchie's smaller than he looks."
I could see if I can change that up for you guys, so you can actually look a bit more like slimmer. It's smaller. I don't know how to do that.
But as far as how I got into the industry, for me, it was serendipitous. I was supposed to start going to college, and it just was not for me. I didn't even go into class the first day. I just walked into the building and was like, "This sucks." You know, this is not what I want to be doing. And I hit up my dad. My dad's an auto mechanic. He was kind of like the local hero. He knew everyone from people in the police to fucking mobsters to chefs.
Yeah.
All these guys need their cars fixed. And my dad said, well, I know this guy. He owns a pastry factory. You want to try that out? And I was like, sure. And I went to this pastry factory and I loved it, man. I loved how mentally engaging it was, how physically engaging it was, at the time, at least I liked how physically engaging it was. And I liked the action. It was just something different every day, something new to learn. And it was the first time in my life where I was doing something my father told me for a long time, which was learn a craft with your hands. Prior to that, yes, music, I guess you utilize your hands. I used to draw a lot when I was much younger. I can't draw to save my life anymore, but these were things I thought I wanted to do. I would say more artistic, but cooking is an actual craft, there's an artistic element to it, but at the end of the day, it is a craft. And I just kind of was like, I don't know. I felt like I was doing the right thing by pursuing this career. And I just stuck with it. I was just incredibly stubborn and stuck with it.
Yeah.
I was born into it.
You were born into it. Yeah.
And I was alone most of the time. So I ended up doing most of my own cooking very early on. And then my father noticed that I was making nice dishes to the point that he asked me to make extra for him when he got back from work to eat. And we would watch Westerns together.
Oh.
And then he's like, so I'm lucky that I was in the right place at the right time with the right talent. So it made it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I always find that like the hospitality industry is like a love-hate relationship. Like place to industry to work in, but it all depends on who you work with. And I'm sure we all have our ups and downs, and there's maybe like a ton of shit workers that we've worked in the past, but it all depends who you work with. And if everyone's all on the same page or happy, you gotta have a good day. When there's got to be that one person that's fucking pissed off and down all the time, it's gonna make everybody's days worse.
Well, that's why you got to get rid of those cancers.
Yeah.
Never waste time. Away.
Yeah. You were always the type. See, I'm a little bit more nurturing than Frenchie is in that regard, for sure. Frenchie's style was definitely much more like cut the cancer off right there. Whereas I try to really, even if it's sometimes to my own detriment, I've had some situations with a couple employees recently, and I really do my best to pull it out of them. Sometimes I find I get the best employees when I work with them through that, but it's not easy because most of the time it actually doesn't work out, but when it does work out, it works out really great. There's one guy, he doesn't work for me now, but he worked for me in the past at a past restaurant, and he was just, he was just the worst guy in the kitchen. I mean, hopeless. Like everyone thought he was hopeless. Everyone thought I was wasting my breath and my time and my energy. But there was one thing this guy did, and it was he showed up every day, no matter how much I chewed him out. That's the night before, no matter how fucking loud I yelled at him, and don't forget, like in the heat of service, when you're not getting the results out of somebody, asking them nicely, sometimes you have to raise your voice, and it's not for the sake of being mean, but it's like to wake them up and get them alert, get that adrenaline pumping. And it's definitely not something I condone, but like if you haven't worked in that line of business, then you just don't know. But man, let me tell you, this guy, so I left that restaurant. Then I came back on a part-time basis just to help them out a little bit. And he was still there, and he was the best guy on that line. And I went up to him and I just he was already getting better while I was working there. Again, he just showed up every fucking day he was
Some
scheduled.
people take longer to learn.
Yeah, and
that's true.
Yeah. And when I came back like a year later, and he was still there, he was crushing, man. And I went up to him and I like shook his hand and then brought him in for a hug and was like, "You rock! Like, I'm so proud of you, and you persevered and you made it happen."
I don't give out hugs. No.
Bro love.
Oh,
dude, if I was there with you guys, I'll give you a hug too, man. I'm a hugging person. I like to hug people too. Like,
hugs are nice, man. Hugs are nice.
Yeah,
but
if
he was in the middle, he would look like a combination of us two.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. If I
If
ever come down your way, you know, I'll pop on your podcast for sure, and I'll sit in the middle between you guys. No, but I've learned that on the way as well. You know, they're always like, oh, you know, we're going to get busy, so if I'm yelling at you, don't take it the wrong way. And it's the only way you can learn from it. And you know, I worked with dumbass chefs over the years, and I worked with some good ones. And there's some times that I wanted to give it up. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been both.
Yeah. I make no apologies on chewing staff out in the kitchen specifically. Like, unless you've worked in it, you don't fucking know. And you know, most of the people who have a problem with it are either don't know and don't work in the industry and or we're not cut out for the industry. There's a difference between abuse and tough love. You know what I mean? There is a line, and many people do cross it. So I get it. I get why it's construed, but like, you know, it's the kitchen is and don't get me wrong, there are other industries that are much fucking harder. Like, I would not want to be like a underwater welder or some shit like that. You know what I mean? I think that's a far more difficult job than what we do. But the point still stands that a kitchen is sensory overload, and you do it for hours at a time. All your senses are on 11, and you have to pull off precision, and it takes a special kind of crazy to accomplish it. Yeah, on demand, and it takes a special kind of crazy to put up with it, but also push the staff to get those results you need. I will forever like stand behind it and
for a luxury item.
Own it for a luxury item. And the thing is, that's another thing. Marco Pierre White says it, you know, very eloquently. I'm paraphrasing here, but the essence of what he says is, you know, all these people, they come for a fancy dinner and they think that it's this hoity-toity thing, but they don't realize that it's not a nice hoity-toity thing. Kitchens are hot and they're smelly. And they're violent, and it's just everything that fine dining is not. And people don't appreciate, you know,
the torment.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were just talking, walking outside to the restaurant. It's fucking hot and humid in New York right now, and I'm right there with you, Frenchie.
There are people working in the kitchen,
and there are people working in the kitchen right now with no AC in front of a fucking grill, cooking your steaks your perfect medium rare right now. And I don't think you and I could.
I had to correct the hostess, because when I came in, I made like a sound, huh, and then she's like, "Oh, is right. It's so hot." I was like, "You know, there are people that work on the grill right now. They've been there, for instance, this morning."
Yeah.
Yeah, people on the other side of the kitchen don't know what it's like until you actually get in there. They'll be like, "Nah, I can't handle this no more."
And you know what? In all fairness, they're not supposed to. That's okay. That's why I really like doing the Reacts content. In all honesty, yes, there's one part in that Reacts content is a lot easier to produce than a cooking video per se, or a guitar gear review video, but also it just like gives me an opportunity to give people behind the like a really unfiltered perspective, behind the scenes look in a digestible, approachable way that they can understand. through the means of a reaction video. There's a tendency, and it's not, you there's varying degrees of how you can do cooking videos, but ultimately cooking videos are polished to be exactly that. There's some form of like instruction, right? There's some form of
They're a recipe.
Yeah, they're a recipe, like, oh, make this at home. That's essentially what it comes down to, right? And there are some people that will insert little things about kitchen stories and stuff like that, but
we're not doing recipes, we're doing demos.
Yeah, that is true. We are doing demonstrations, but that's kind of why we are doing the occasional cooking video, but you'll notice our cooking videos are very lax, and it's for the same exact reason, like
uncomplicated.
We keep it straightforward and fun, because that's actually the type of cooking we like to do, like real pro cooking with 100 people in the dining room all waiting for their food. It's definitely a different atmosphere. It's definitely a lot harsher. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So I was actually doing some research on you, Brian. Hang on. Because is your mom Malaysian, correct? Or was it your dad? Oh, we seem to froze. Sorry, guys. This normally happens.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. Did you froze?
Yeah, it froze for a little bit. I mean, your image is still frozen, but considering you're in Australia, like I would say, we had a pretty good run.
Yeah, it's all good. So your mom's Malaysian, correct?
My wife is Malaysian.
Your wife's Malaysian.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Yeah. So does she cook like really good like Malaysian food?
Yeah, she can cook some pretty good Malaysian food. She's, I wouldn't say she's a solid home cook, but ultimately my wife eats very simply. She's a much more petite person than I am, for sure.
She's not cooking for the masses.
Yeah. She's not cooking for the masses. So, but she also cooks. She eats very, very healthy, simple food, which is great. My daughter eats very healthy. Because if I was cooking every day, that wouldn't be the case.
Daughters,
yes. Well, the younger one's not eating my wife's food yet.
No.
Yes,
she is.
No. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. So like your dad is Chinese, your mom's Korean. So did you grow up like eating their style of food as a kid?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little. Did what as a kid?
Did you grow up like eating like your mom's like food as a kid? Because I was just reading your bio on your website, like your mom's Korean, your mom and your father's Chinese. So like, did you grow up eating those type of foods as a kid?
Yeah. So my mom, she learned to cook a few good Chinese dishes for sure. She wasn't proficient at it, but she could definitely pull off a few of my dad's favorites for sure. Yeah, the staples. She cooked a pretty wide variety of stuff. I mean, obviously she made a lot of Korean food too, but growing up, I have no shortage of good food memories. My mom, she made lasagna a lot, which is ironic. I say that, but she knew I loved it, and so she took it upon herself to learn how to make it, and she made it pretty damn good.
Where did she get the recipe?
Well, I think she just like looked in magazines and figured it out, But
those are the days of like, what were the popular magazines?
Like at the supermarket, there'd be magazines, gourmet and shit like that, and she would read magazines and but she wouldn't make like the tomato sauce from scratch, you know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she would buy like a jar of ragu and cook some ground beef and mix it together, and you know
I think that's it. I do that all the time.
Yeah, it does the job. You know, it does the job.
I use that as a baseline.
Yeah,
and then I improve on it. I always, like, believe it or not, I gotta give credit to Blondie. She found this pasta sauce that's, I don't even know the name of it, but every time she sees it, she buys it, and we use it consistently as a baseline.
So that's like one example. You know, my my dad, he always takes credit for me getting so big because we ate a lot of steak growing up. My dad was like, yeah, you know, it's because of all the money I spent on steaks on you.
My dad used to say the same thing.
Really? Yeah.
He said, big boy, you was always healthy because because those people never had meat.
Right.
So when they came here, my father said, like, when the year that he came to this country, he ate steak 3 times a day. like it was, he never had meat.
Yeah. So I ate a lot of steak growing up. So my dad would get like fucking whole ribeyes and we'd portion them at home, and we'd have a steak for like 4 days in a row. And that was very common for me, you know. So I didn't necessarily eat Asian food every day. It's definitely like 85% of my diet growing up, but you know, I was very fortunate to have a little mix in there.
Yeah, I was a bit the same as well. Mum being Filipino, man, she always like always cooking spring rolls, fish and rice, but also like pork and chicken adobo. Like my favorite. I haven't had it in a while now because I'm trying to eat healthy as well. I've been trying to eat cleaner now, but pretty shit at doing that.
Yeah. Sorry, Adam. The connection on your you're breaking up a lot. Should we just restart this, or I don't know? Is that gonna like kill the show or something? Or because I'm understanding you.
Hang on, am I all good now?
I don't know. Let's keep going and see how it goes. But yeah, earlier you were breaking up a lot.
Okay, so I'm good now.
Yeah, that's a little better. Yep.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I don't know. It's live, so I'm guessing that's normal. I guess when you do these things.
There we go.
But
Yeah.
So we're good.
Don't talk.
Awesome. Yeah. So you own a is it cafe restaurant or commission?
Paul owns a full service restaurant called Le Ravage at 340 West 46th Street in the heart of New York City, Hell's Kitchen. And my spot is a sandwich spot, but you were wearing the hoodie.
Yeah, it's getting funny now.
It is exactly what the name entails. It's a sandwich shop. It's small, and we just specialize in one thing, sandwiches. And that's what I love. We sell some chips, some cookies, and drinks, but most of our product is just sandwiches.
Yeah, I follow that as well on Instagram, and some of the stuff that's popped up on there as well, man. It's so fucking good. So fucking good. And I like how you actually scoop out the bread in the middle to fill up all the fillings. Mm-hmm. That is like perfect. So how long have you been running that for?
We are in our 3rd year now. So we just celebrated 2 years this past April.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm in my 3rd year plus 40.
No, that's cool, man. Wow. You thinking about expanding the brand out?
Well, can we talk about what's going on with you over here? Because
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, I mean, am I thinking about expanding? But I wanted to bring the question to you really quick because you're not expanding per se, but
I'm handing the baton.
Paul for the first time is handing down the baton. Bringing in some new talent, revamping the menu, and it's really exciting because I think Paul really found the right guy. His food is fantastic, I'm also good friends with Paul because I really respect what he does here, and I really love his food. But I was like, what's going to happen, because I know Paul doesn't want to give this restaurant to his children. He was pretty adamant about that not happening. So I always wondered what was going to happen to this place. And I think it is being passed on to the to the right guy, and we'll get into that another time. As for me, an expansion, I am in the works of some things. Nothing is confirmed yet. Some really but firm if it is going to actually be happening. I mean, it will happen, but whether it's going to be happening soon or not is yet to be seen. There's still some things I need to get ironed out, and I am not going to do the expansion without
money.
Well, there's that, number one. But also, I'm going to take my time, meaning that, like, if this avenue for revenue to find the capital to do the expansion doesn't work out, I'm also not going to rush to find another means. Like, it will happen, and it'll happen organically. I am ready to expand, but I'm also not looking to force it. Yeah,
just take your time with it, huh? That's cool. So you play in the band as well. What was it? Shit. I was listening to it yesterday because I only just discovered it recently too.
Lost Becomes. Yes.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for?
I mean, I've been Lost Becomes has been a thing for like 3-4 years now. It came together right before the pandemic, actually, maybe a year before the pandemic. The band, that is. But I've been in and out of bands since I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
I've just always loved bands. I liked being in bands. I like writing music, and I've done the solo thing. I've done the, not that like I tried to pursue being a solo artist, but just, in the sense of recording and writing my own songs by myself. And I still prefer to be in a band with a group of people that I really like and jive with creatively. But yeah, Lost Becomes is definitely one of the bands I've been in longest. I think I've been in the second longest in my life. I had one other band in the past for like 5 years, so this is coming close.
What was that band name?
Hollow, like Sleepy Hollow. That band was in mainland China, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time, but I left China eventually. That band disbanded. But
time for a reunion.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken about it, and then Xi Jinping came into power, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go back.
They can't come here,
huh? No,
it's one of those.
Yeah. Well, everyone's left mainland China at this point, and I think all of our following a good majority of our following has left too. if you know what I mean. So we would be playing to nobody, essentially. It's fine. If we did that reunion like 10 years ago, I think it would actually been pretty cool. But I'm in this band now. So let's talk about the now. I am in Lost Becomes now. We're an active band. We're getting ready to put out our second record. And
nice.
Yeah, so we're going to be putting out some new material soon. And honestly, if I'm not hanging with Frenchie, if I'm not at the sandwich shop, if I'm not with my family, I'm definitely with the band. I'm pretty easy to find.
I'm starting up a band.
Okay.
A 10-piece tuba band.
Hell yeah.
Just 10 tubas.
You hear it first, guys. There you go. Boom. Frenchie's got a band now. So look out for it. And you might see him in a near city near you.
Or circus.
And your band's going to be called We Are Fat.
Supporting act for Steel Panther.
Yes.
But, so how do you find the time to do all these things? Like, you're a business owner, you're a podcaster, you're playing a band. How do you find time for all these things?
cocaine.
Yeah.
No cocaine. I do not touch cocaine. I have not touched cocaine in a long time, and there's a reason for that.
I've never touched it.
You should keep it that way. Yes, let me tell you something. I love cocaine, man. That's why I don't. Fuck, man. I can't fuck with that anymore.
Especially now, it's all fentanyl.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Yes, it is scary. I wouldn't. I don't touch hard drugs anymore. I've stayed away from that stuff for so long now. One, because I like them too much, and I'm very lucky I never got addicted. I just was like, every time I did it, I was like, this is sick, you know. But because I knew how much I liked it, I was like, this is a very slippery slope.
So what's left? Hard liquor and harder women.
Yeah. So what the hell were we talking about?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is much more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was asking like how you manage all those things because like you're such a busy dude. Like, how do you
listen, man?
do all this?
Say whatever you want about him, but Dana White kind of sums it up perfectly. He fucking hates sleeping. Like,
yeah.
He hates being asleep. He loves being awake because he loves his life. And that's me. Like, I love my life. I love hanging out with this dude. I love my YouTube channel. I love what I do. It wasn't always that way.
I love a good night's sleep, though.
I'm the same.
Yeah. On an average night, and I thought this was a problem before, but I came to realize recently that this is just me. On an average night, I sleep about 5 hours. Like I can't sleep more. Now, have I slept more? Of course. Like I'll have a string of a few weeks, and then all of a sudden I sleep for like 12 hours. You know, I don't know what it is, but I thought for a long time when I was a bit more mentally unstable and had a lot more anxiety before I kind of got in control of it, I thought it was due to anxiety, and I thought it was due to some mental health issues why I wasn't sleeping more than 5 hours a night. So I was, using edibles nightly to mitigate that, and then that eventually started to, my tolerance became too high. I started taking too much, and but after I cut that out, and I would say this year specifically is like really when I stopped doing any type of edibles. I've really cut down on my drinking and stuff like that. Not that I ever had a serious problem, but after I started using vices to aid in my sleep, I can't. And now that I don't have this anxiety issue, because things have worked out with the shop, and anything that could have caused anxiety for the most part has chilled out or leveled out, so to speak. I still wake up after 5 hours, and I wake up and I feel great. Like I can't wait to tackle the day. So I just came to realize oh shit, I think some people need 8 hours of sleep, and some people do pretty well operating on not too much sleep. And I really do like keeping busy. I mean, if you really want to do something, you're going to make the fucking time, And also, I get that question all the time. I want 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I'm not done growing that. I want 20 Mission Sandwich socials. Like, I'm not done with that. Frenchie is literally the guy who tells me, who told me the thing that really changed my life, which is it always gets better. But there's a second part I've added to that, which is it always gets better as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm not trying to get into any motivational thing, but that whole it always gets better, that also applies to things that are already good. You can make the thing even better if you just keep fucking going,
Yeah.
So again, I'm not a good barometer. People shouldn't be looking to my lifestyle and being oh, you're doing great, because too many others, I don't spend enough time with my family, or I don't get enough sleep. such and such, but like I have other things, I have other results that make it worth it to me, and that may not be for everybody, but that's how I do it. I just make the time, and it's because I enjoy it. Like I look forward to seeing my bandmates every week. I look forward to like coming into work at the YouTube studio. I do look at it as work, like, as much fun and as much as we bullshit with each other, like clearly right now, like I look at the podcast and the YouTube channel as work, but it's really fucking fun work,
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm I'm exactly the same as well. I enjoy being busy, like there's no slowing down with me. Sometimes I have my chill moments, but like, I work, I do this, I go to the gym, trying to spend time with family, it's just those things that makes me happy. But like, as far as the podcast as well, I used to do them weekly, once a week, but we've worked and now we're already like mid-year already. It's not become that busy, going towards the busy time for us now. I'm just doing this when I can, maybe like once a fortnight or something like that, or just when I can actually have time for myself to do these things, because like I'm reaching out to people, I'm responding to people's DMs, I'm trying to promote things, post stuff, and it's exhausting.
Yeah. And listen, you can be exhausted by doing something you don't like to do too. So I figure like get exhausted by doing something you do like to do, and at the very end, you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, it's still new. It's been almost a year now since I've started this podcast, and like what I was saying to you before we hit the live button, I've been doing podcasting for like 5 years or something like that. And it was just like how you had Frenchie as your co-host. He was like a regular guest. I was the same thing with the other podcast that I was doing. I was just a regular guest. His co-host couldn't do it anymore. He asked me to do it, so I did it. And then I've met so many cool people. I met a lot of amazing artists. Like we've had Eric Dover. He played guitar for Alice Cooper for a couple of years in his band, and he's like one of my favorite guitar players. And I remember saying to Mike, the host, I'm like, dude, this is awesome, because it's like going to a VIP meet and greet, but not paying for like $800 for the meet and greet to meet your idols or whoever and stuff like that. And I've had good guests on here as well. I've had Alice Cooper's daughter on his podcast, and people's like, how did you get them on your podcast? I'm like, I don't know, just send them a message.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'll end with this, which is I love metal music, and the way I have gotten into every metal show is by showing up with a platter of sandwiches. If you have something to offer someone, they will open the doors for you and welcome you with open arms. So, whether it's a podcast or a platter of sandwiches, ultimately people want to connect. And I think, again, if you are going to spend your time on anything, you might as well spend your time on something you enjoy.
Yeah, 100%. And before we finished up, because we're almost hitting an hour mark, and it's probably almost 8 p.m. for you guys over there. Are you guys horror fans? Do you like horror movies?
I like horror movies. I haven't really been able to. I haven't been able to watch many of them because because I'm a scared little bitch. No, because one, I live in a small apartment, and if I do want to watch a scary movie, I have to do it when no one's home, so it doesn't like give my daughter nightmares. Because the last scary movie I watched, I don't remember what it was.
Can't you wear earbuds?
No. She gets like drawn into the TV. So even if I wore earbuds, she couldn't sleep for like 2 days afterwards. I felt so bad. Like she broke down crying. Like why did you watch that movie? I can't stop dreaming about it. It just broke my fucking heart. I don't remember. What's the funny thing is, I don't even think it was a scary movie. It was just like a scary part of an action movie.
And she got frightened from it. That's hilarious.
She got fucking traumatized by that. So my daughter's very much like a Disney, like she's the embodiment of a Disney child, you know. So
Disney's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not bad at all. It could be worse.
Yeah. Especially like with all the Marvel movies that's coming out now, it's kind of gone downhill a bit.
Oh my gosh, Marvel and Star Wars and
Deadpool will save the day.
Deadpool will save everything. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one with Deadpool x Wolverine.
Yeah,
it's a long time coming for that movie. Yeah, I'm huge into horror, and as you can see, Jack Skeleton and Texas and Leatherface pillows on my bed.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend did not like that. She fucking hated it.
I'm down with that. I'm down with it. I just haven't watched much of it recently, but love it.
I try to stay on top of with stuff like that, but I'm always rewatching the favorites all the time. Or I had Ace Von Johnson that plays for LA Guns on guitar, and he played for like Faster Pussycat and stuff like that, and Unwritten Law for a bit. He got me into Exorcist 3. And have you seen the first Exorcist movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he said like he's like watch Exorcist 3 and skip Exorcist 2. And you'll be surprised in how good Exorcist 3 and underrated it is. I think it came out in the early 90s or something like that. But Exorcist 3 is like more of a detective movie and stuff. But you will dig it. I think, it's not that scary, but I think you guys will dig it.
All
but
right.
guys, thank you very much for coming on and hanging out with me. Is there anything that you guys want to promote?
Check out our podcast. So You Want to Get Fat. You know, it's you get an extra dose of Frenchie and I. We talk about things adjacent with the food industry, but a lot more than that just too.
Adjacent,
yes. And also Pro Chef Reacts. Look it up. You'll see us on there for sure. Thanks for having us, man. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. Are you gonna be doing more Sunday, the Sandwiches Sunday thing again?
No, that show is been put to bed. I think I've found my niche with the Reacts channel and the occasional cooking videos together with Frenchie. We're going to be filming our next cooking video in just a couple weeks, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. You know, when Frenchie and I do cooking videos, they are a lot of fun. So, as far as Sandwich Sunday goes, no plans for it to come back. It was definitely fun at the time. It was a great learning experience, but it's not, as far as my content creation goes, it's not where I want to go personally. I hope that disappoint you too much, but that's just
it's all good. I can always rewatch them again.
Yeah.
Get the views up.
If only I even knew about it.
Yeah. At that time, that show was focused purely on the metal community. So.
Where you would bring a metal.
Yeah, metal guys on it. Yeah.
I knew it.
It's fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it's just not my main thing right now.
That's why we need to interject like all the things that we like. Why just bring a piece of that into a show?
Yeah, well, that's what's so great about the podcast is like
we can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can like revive Sandwich Sunday through that somehow, and
between just a tip and
yeah.
Now, guys, well, they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on Twitter as well, or X.
On Twitter, kind of. Yeah.
Twitter.
And Frenchie, you're on Instagram as well. I'll put your links. I'll put your links in the description area, guys. Frenchie. Right. I'm going to start calling you that now because I forgot your real name. So, Frenchie, Chef Brian, thanks for coming on, guys. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Buy some of the merch. I've got the Girls Gone Wild hat. Go to the merch store right now and buy it. You can buy Brian's merch on your website, and also support him on Patreon because he posts up some really cool shit. Until next time, guys, look after each other. Don't be a dick and be kind to each other. Peace out and stay awesome, everyone. See ya.